This is Let's Talk Football here on the sportshacks.com. We are going to talk League of Ireland football on the weekend ahead with Darrell Geraghty, freelance football writer with the 42, the Irish Examiner, and RTE.ie, amongst others, and a regular at men's and women's games in the League of Ireland every weekend. Darrell, you're welcome back to Let's Talk Football.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm fairly right, I think, in thinking that there are 5 weeks to go until the League of Ireland takes that summer break, coincides, of course, this year with the World Cup, which begins on June the 11th. But the League of Ireland, I think the last games currently scheduled for the last weekend in May, and players go off for the mid-term breaks and have a little bit of relaxation. But I'm sure the physios and the strength and conditioning coaches will be giving them little programs to bring away with them. I'm going to start this week, if we can, Darrell, looking ahead, by focusing on the managers who maybe aren't quite where they want to be at this time of the season. I'm looking particularly John Daly at Waterford, Cameron Reynolds at Bohemians, Joey O'Brien at Shelbourne. The three of them are probably under the most pressure at this moment in time. But begin with John Daly. I mean, Fleetwood Town, their owners, they're coming to the end of their own season. Are they known for patience, do you think?
Oh, absolutely not. No. I think that's the big point within all this, I think, is you mentioned coming to the end of the season in the UK and Scotland is a lot of managers that are hoping to stay in the job until that break, until the window comes, so they can strengthen for the second half. But getting that far is the problem. And as you've seen already at grounds, the fans aren't as patient as they used to be. So, yeah, with John, look, loads of time for John. He's done great jobs over the years. Just unfortunate to be in that position now. At Waterford side seems quite unbalanced, and less than patient owners, I think, is probably nice. So he will probably be the top of the list, kind of looking over his shoulder. But again, if you can get to the summer, that's the big kind of cushion maybe that the managers are looking at. If they can get that far, you can reset again. Yeah. Just reset, yeah.
And you look at the strikers that they have on their books. I mean, they've Corrigan, they've Conor Carthy, they've Tommy Lonergan. But as you say, the problem isn't scoring goals. The problem is the goals they're conceding.
Exactly, yeah. Just they can trouble teams. If they could just shore up the defence a little bit, maybe add a defensive midfielder to really cover the ground, that might take a bit of pressure off the back three when he plays that. But again, it's simple tactics. It's all right saying that now, but if they don't back it up on the pitch or show that they have something to give to the league, then they could be cut adrift even more, because it's a long time until the break.
Yeah, they're already 5 points at the bottom, 5 draws. They're already 8 points adrift of Drogheda and Sligo and Shelbourne, etc., ahead of them in the table. This weekend, not to be pouring even more cold water on Waterford's hopes, but this weekend they have to go to Tallaght Stadium and they have to play a Shamrock Rovers team who will be smarting a little bit after their experiences at the GA Stadium in Derry last weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. That's Stephen Bradley's style, is he'll get his team bouncing back straight away. I think they were beginning to hit their groove a little before the game in Derry, so to knock them off a little bit would be upsetting. We know Stephen likes to plan out his season and his teams. So yeah, if it knocks out of the groove a little bit, but there'll be some reaction, I'd say, on Friday. And John Daly has to think up of a master plan to even get a point, unfortunately. So
a lot of surprise around the place, and we've seen on social media reaction that Graham Burke didn't start in Derry, but the pitch in Tallaght is going to be an awful lot better than it was up in Celtic Park last weekend. And Graham Burke, 2 goals against Bohemians. We've seen since he came back to Shamrock Rovers, we've seen what he can do. You would expect him to start, I think, on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. He's different level, and it seems he can score for fun once he gets onto the left foot and opens his body. Everyone kind of expects him to score more than you don't. So, yeah, Stephen, well experienced at this stage, managing the double game week, so he'll get enough out of his forwards, and I think that was part of his thinking last Friday, as well as his injury history. Probably not great to play there. So, yeah, I think it's Borky, isn't it? It's just he's that good. He play on anything. So, yeah, you can see the frustration of the fans at how well he's playing this season, that he's not playing all the time. But you have to be realistic as well.
You mentioned you were at Talca Park and we were looking back at last weekend's games here on the Sports. Actually, you mentioned that Talca Park, a little bit of dissent, particularly from one particular fan who ran behind the technical area and had to go with Joey Bryan and the team. It's not just the managers. It's never just
Yeah.
the managers at fault in these situations. Players sometimes have to take a lot of the blame as well. But Shelburne now, they're away to Dundalk. Dundalk got turned over in Sligo last weekend as well. Their home form has been excellent all season. So again, for Joey, this is not an easy game.
No, absolutely not. I my takeaway really from last week was I think they need a win to go from somewhere just to get that monkey off their back. They're trying too hard. When something goes against them, even conceding one goal when you're 2-0 up, you can kind of see it affects their attitude, their play gets a bit shakier. They're a bit more unsure. No matter who Joey changes at half time or after, he's looking for a reaction to try to settle things down. But yeah, just again, like we said, a reaction. Kieran Clonduff will get a reaction from his side as well. So that's going to be a titanic battle, I think.
I have a stat here in front of me. I'm sure this won't shock you because you're a man who prepares for your matches when you're working on a Friday night. But Bohemians, Derry City, their visitors this Friday. Bohemians haven't won a game since the 13th of March, and this is the end of April.
Just not good enough. Just no way of sugarcoating it. Yeah, we're top of the table. Fans were kind of accepting the style of football, because it was getting results. And since then, it's not a happy camp at all. I just it's the attacking front line. It changes every week. I find it hard to see what they work on in training because it's chop and change. The four players are kind of staying in the same position. It's more just hope, but having Douglas James Taylor back is a big boost, obviously.
Mhm.
But again, they were watertight at the back, and now they're conceding for fun. So you think a manager like Aaron Reynolds will sort that out first before worrying about the attacking sense. But Derry City are in form now; they're flying. So
Well,
I don't could
it
be
just shows
anything.
you, a couple of weeks ago, and if we were talking about managers under pressure, we would
Yeah,
absolutely have mentioned Tiernan Lynch.
we did.
Two
We
wins,
did. We
we
did.
did,
We
and
did.
two wins, one against Shelburne, one against Shamrock Rovers in Celtic Park, and all of a sudden, there's not as much talk about Tiernan Lynch.
No, it does not. And again, having the good news of James McLean as well will only help their situation. But with the league, it's so streaky. It's just crazy, crazy division this year. You know, you go on these winless runs, you win two or three like Derry, and then you can go back on another three. It just seems to be no middle ground this season. I don't know if you're feeling it as well. It's just
Hmm.
you're either on a good run or you're stuck in a bad one. There's no couple of draws to get over the line and boost confidence, say. But
And
yeah,
bar that anomaly with Waterford only on 5 points at the
well,
bottom. The rest of them,
exactly.
it is still all to play for. Dawson Devoy, big weekend for him because very soon they're going to name an Irish squad to go to Spain without the Premier League players, without the Scottish Premier League players, without some of the players in Europe who are still involved in club football. They're going to play one game against Grenada. Alan Reynolds has said, now he may have second thoughts given the recent run of results, but he has said that if Dawson Devoy gets a call up from Heimer, that he will release him and that he would be proud to see his player get an international cap. It would be great for the league, and I do not think it would be in any way misserving if Dawson Devoy was to be gone.
No, absolutely not. I think anyone that's watched him this season and last season, the level he's gone up to, couldn't be more surprised that he wasn't involved. He's been that good. He's against anyone. He's the best midfielder, best player on the pitch. He's just at that level, and that camp would be very interesting because then we have a couple of ex League of Ireland players that say at Lincoln with Jack Moylan and Josh Shanahan as well. You'd expect them to be involved,
Hmm.
but it
And
just shows that
Josh is still injured, isn't he? But Jack
I
Moylan,
think,
yeah,
yeah, he'd be mentioned around the
yeah,
camp that
yeah.
he'd be involved eventually. So, but yeah, the League of Ireland, any representation from the league in the Irish camp is just amazing.
Hmm.
It deserves the league deserves it basically. It doesn't matter what the facilities argument is. If the players are good enough, then they're good enough. So I'd love to see them at that next level. But
And
he's definitely well worth.
Jack Moylan, Shelburne fans and Bohemians fans will be very happy to see him. And I think I think it's nailed on. He's going to be in the squad, and I would expect him
Yeah.
to win his cap against Grenada or Granada, however we want to call it. And hopefully for him, it'll be the first of many. St. Patrick's Athletic, top of the league, going to Galway. Hasn't always been a happy hunting ground for them. Great trip, as away fans know, going to Galway. But on the pitch, St. Pat's, they've struggled a few times up there.
Yeah, they do. It's hard to put your finger on really because they haven't won in so long out there. So you'd expect Galway to be tough, hard to break down. But the way Pats are playing and their firepower, the form they're in at the moment, they just might have enough to get over the line. But it won't be. It definitely won't be easy. Any trip out to Galway is always going to be tough. But yeah, after seeing their performance against Bows last week, I'd expect them to have just a bit too much on this occasion.
So it's one game, and it's an intriguing game because Drogheda United, even though they won in Talca Park last weekend, they're still second bottom of the league with 13 points, and they're home to Sligo Rovers, who are one place above them or two places above them in the table. So this is a big game for both of those teams.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive to extend that gap further to Waterford at the bottom. In terms of what could happen, Kevin Doherty's very worried about how his team are defending. Even though they won the game on last Friday, he was it was just stressed. He looked so stressed. He kept reiterating to us that I am happy we won. I am happy, but the goals are conceding, and he kept going back to it. So, and the form Sligo have been in, like we said earlier, Will Fitzgerald especially in the form was lifetime almost, and having James McManus and Jad Kiki back involved as well. Just like we said, they're game changers, and especially down at the bottom, they can be the difference. So it's nailed on for a 1-1 draw. What do you think?
1-1. So there you go, 1-1 between Drogheda and Sligo, and I think we could fairly much say the Shamrock Rovers will beat Waterford, and 1 point will actually make a difference to both Drogheda and to Sligo.
Yeah.
So Darrell Garrity, as always, thank you for your time, and we will talk to you next week, and we'll have a look back and see, indeed, did the 1-1 prediction come through.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me again. Appreciate it.